So, Eric, aside from having to do press with this guy, how's your day going so far?
So far, it's going well. It's a little bit crazy right now. Just the work schedule's been nuts with filming, and we're launching this bourbon on top of that, and juggling two kids and a house renovation. So my world right now is revolving in a crazy way, but so much fun, and that's the way I like it. I kind of thrive on busyness and craziness, so it's all good stuff.
On top of that, not the only steadily working person in that household. So, two prolific actors, producers in the same household. Hey, looking forward to talking to Sainty next week. But the bourbon, have you always been into bourbon, or is this a recent discovery of yours?
It is a rather recent discovery. I've always been a big bourbon fan. We from the first time I went out to Ireland, and I went to the Jameson distillery. This was probably 7, 8 years ago. I was like, oh, whiskeys, bourbons, it like put it on my radar. And then I spent some time in Louisville, Kentucky, and
Mm.
got to do all the bourbons out there. And that really kind of, you know, opened my eyes and palate, so to speak, to the world of bourbon. And then fast forward 5 years, I never thought I'd find myself in the position of partnering with a bourbon company. But here I am, and it's been one of the most fun things I've ever encroached on. And I'm so happy, and a big time bourbon fan. So this has just been kind of the cherry on the cake.
Putting you on the spot here, you said Louisville, one of my favorite cities because it has the sports, it has the bourbon, it has the museums and the history, it has the restaurants. Isn't that one of the most undiscovered gem cities of the States?
Absolutely. I'd have to agree with you. And, on top of that, I'm a big horseman. And so the horse culture out there is pretty phenomenal as well. Of course, the Kentucky Derby's there, and they've just got such an incredible, they call it the bluegrass state, right? So they've got
Right.
those just rolling hills of beautiful grass. And yeah, no, so Louisville's got it going on, man. I hope to spend more time there. And yeah, I've been impressed every step of the way. And of course, Muhammad Ali. They have so many claim to fames out
Yeah.
there. It's pretty amazing.
His museum is fantastic in that city. But hey, back to you. This is not the Muhammad Ali show. This is the Eric Nelsen show. So how long did you have to keep it a secret that the Bucking Bull partnership was happening?
I competed in the celebrity cutting competition in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Will Rogers Coliseum. Oh, let's see, how long ago was that? Less than 6 months, but it's been a substantial amount of months. So I guess since then, that's when I first met the founders, Phil and
Mhm.
Sarah of Bucking Bull. That's where our relationship began, and it kind of quickly grew from there. And here we are. We're launching in a couple of days. It's already the 31st, so it's where this is happening here. This coming up next week. So it's been a very fun last few months, but we're going full force all the way right now, and can't wait for the public to try this stuff.
Now, I'm calling you a celebrity. You did not call yourself a celebrity. But a lot of times when there's celebrity partnerships involved with the drinks, the person goes on the road. For example, when you go see Sammy Hagar Van Halen, the concert is just basically a commercial for the Cabo Wabo brand. There's the banners, everyone's wearing the shirts, he's cheers in the crowd, etc. For you, do you have to take it on the road, or it's just a couple of interviews and hey, whenever you're in public, that's what you're drinking?
No, I'm fully invested into this brand and company, and I'm all hands on deck right now. So I will be showing up at PBR. I'm going to be showing up at all these really cool events we're going to have the bourbon at. I want to meet the fans. I want to help promote the liquor. So odds are, if we're going to be at an event, Bucking Bull Bourbon, you'll see me there. I can't wait.
Is it the kind of brand that will eventually see, and I'm not asking for exclusives, I'm not asking you to break embargoes, but is it the kind of thing where it'll just be one particular flavor or offering, that's what you do? Or could there be eventually partnerships with other brands and other varieties?
I think sky's the limit right now. Right now, since we're just launching, we're focusing on one thing. We want to come out with a punch, and we want that one thing to be the best, and it is. So we're going to focus there for now, and then as things grow, we're open. We're open to other partnerships, and we're hoping this expands in every way possible. So it's definitely not a door that's closed. And I'll just say we're excited to see what the future has in store for us, but we're open-minded.
Now, as you called out up top, hey, busy with the family, busy with the acting, etc. People know you largely from the Yellowstone spinoff. But the thing that impresses me the most is, did I read correctly? Youngest producer in history to win an Emmy?
Yes, Darren, that is true. It is, to this day, when somebody says it out loud, I still like, it's kind of almost unbelievable for me, because when it was happening and when it happened, I had no idea that there was even a possible record at stake. When I got the nomination, that was just more than I ever could have asked for. And then when I won, I still had no idea. It wasn't until, a matter of weeks later, I started getting calls to do interviews, and they're like, well, how does it feel to be the youngest ever? And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't have that pressure on myself. I'm glad that I didn't know going into it, because I feel like then I really would have just, added that extra element of, I guess, just pressure, and the anxiety of, whoa, this could be, history in the making. So I'm glad I was a little naive to that. But that was, years ago now, and the record still holds. So who knows how long it's going to stay there, but enjoying it while it lasts, I guess.
That one surprised me because I would have thought that there was a point where Dakota Fanning would have been a 9-year-old producer. Her to star in the film, she has to have the credit, or Drew Barrymore would have gotten it after E.T. So it's you.
Yeah. And, it is surprising. And, I think what sets it apart is, the Dakota Fannings and the Drew Barrymores, they were child stars in film back in a day when film stars didn't necessarily make TV crossovers. I happen to win it in the TV genre.
Right.
So and there's, very few network television stars that have crossed over into producing, because typically the networks just do it all themselves. They've got all the money, they've got everything. So there's no need to bring on or, give an actor credit as a producer. But now, of course, actors have their own production companies. They're making their own content. We see that with Reese Witherspoon and so many others. So until there's a young buck out there brave enough to start their own production company and put up their own TV show, hopefully the record will stand. But just happy to have been recognized in any way.
And then another area where you crossed over, it impresses me that you crossed over from theater to film and television, because when I was a kid 40, 50 years ago, no, I'm kidding. When I was a kid, you either did theater or you did film or you did television. You didn't really do all three. What was the point that you were able to cross over from theater into the big screen?
That's a great question. And I'm so happy it happened the way it did, because honestly, the training and the schooling and just the mindset as an actor you gain from learning in theater, I think is unprecedented. And to this day, if anyone I know who asks me advice, I want to become an actor, I'm like, train in theater first. That's really, really, really where you're going to get your fundamentals. And, there's nothing like performing on a live stage. So I'm glad it happened that way. It wasn't until after I had done the Broadway musical 13 with Ariana Grande and Elizabeth Gillies. And, I just had so much fun. And after that, I was like, wow, I'd love to take this hype and this kind of, I was kind of put on a little pedestal after that show. And I was like, I want to utilize that to hopefully transition in the film and TV world, because I'd always been interested in it. So right when that show ended in New York, I went straight to LA and gave it a try, and completely fell in love. And, I like I like that you get to work with new actors each week. The guest stars are always rotating, and you get new writers coming in and out. So
Right.
it was fun for me to experience that. And I kind of just ran with it. But theater will always have my home. And I can't wait to return to Broadway one day, hopefully soon. And yeah, and I do think, to any maybe actors out there, fans of mine out there that are in the entertainment industry, I do think these days it's almost crucial to be faceted in all areas of the industry, just because it is so up and down, and there's so many different outlets now to create even your own content. I say just, get your hand in everything, because there's so much opportunity. It's, it'd be silly not to.
For you, was it a hard transition in that when you're doing theater or Broadway specifically, there's a lot more hands, there's a lot more big movements because you have to play to the back of the room and
Mhm.
you can only do it once, whereas obviously you can do as many takes as it needs, especially if David Fincher is directing you in a film or television project. So for you, was it a big transition to be able to make it play a little smaller?
Um, that's a great question.
Every
And
now and then I have one of those. Just we won't make it a habit.
I think it's just more of a conscious way to specifically retrain. I never stopped taking lessons. To this day, I'm
Hmm.
working with coaches and I'm taking classes privately as much as I can because you get on these big sets, and even Leonardo DiCaprio has his acting coach around. Like, it's just, if you're really taking this seriously, you never stop the training and you never stop the work. And so as I was studying theater and training in theater, I was also taking classes and working, from a film and TV side and perspective,
Hmm.
kind of more internalizing, your performance as opposed to putting it out there. So I would say it wasn't as big of a leap or hurdle just because I'd already kind of been putting in the work. And at the end of the day, we're trying to portray truth, and we're trying to portray emotion that we're feeling, and either toning that back for film and TV. It's still the same emotion, and it's still the same. What you're feeling inside is still going to be the same. It's just, how much am I projecting this? So I don't know. I guess it could have been harder for me, but I think having had put in the work on the other side while I was doing it helped tremendously.
Hmm.
So it didn't seem to be that big of a transition for me, which I guess I should be pretty grateful for.
Well, one more craft question, one more Bucking Bull question, one fun question, and then you're done with this guy.
Awesome.
And the craft question is, with all your training, did that ever lead you to say wanting to do groundlings or improv training, or was that something you did?
I did a lot of improv training, actually. There's a coach in LA. His name is Lane Napper, and he's who I did a lot of my improv training with. And it's, again, especially when you're doing theater, and even some television shows I've worked on, like HBO's Girls,
Hmm.
they improv almost the entire show, which was kind of cool. And I didn't know that going into it. I've got one episode that I did on that show, but the whole scene is completely improvised. And so that training came in
I had
play.
no idea. I figured with the Judd Apatow production, there would be improv in there. It doesn't come across as an improv show the way that, say, Curb Your Enthusiasm does.
Right, right. No, it seems scripted, and it seems so, set in reality and stuff, that it just kind of worked. And the actors, Adam Driver and all them, it's just a testament to them,
Yeah.
Leon. Um, but that improv training is definitely important. It helped a lot in theater because things go wrong live on stage all the time, and you have to roll with the punches. You have to
Yeah.
know how to, bounce back without the audience figuring it out. So definitely was never focused on groundlings or a comedy career per se. I've kind of always been more rooted in dramatic pieces and dark dramas and that sort of niche. But comedy is important. I think it's the hardest thing to do as an actor. Is they always say comedy. So any training you can get will help you in all facets of the industry. So I definitely say go for it if people are considering it. I definitely did, privately and in group settings as well, in classes as well. So it only helps.
The Bucking Bull question promised. Who's the first friend or celebrity that we would know that's already on board going, this is great? Do you have one of those names readily available?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've got a slew of names of people that are just so excited about it and are saying this is great. The cool thing, I'm living in Texas now, and the cool thing, there's a huge emerging music scene happening down here. We've got Leon Bridges, who's Grammy nominated. We've
Oh,
got
yeah.
Poe Wetzel, who's a huge country rock star I know, who's selling out stadiums all over the world. And Co specifically, he just released an epic song with Diplo and Kodak Black, and so he is in mainstream right now. And my best friend is his drummer, and so that whole squad is so excited about the bourbon, and it's going to be on every tour bus we can find, and you know, being pushed all over, not just Texas, but the country, focusing, you know, in the Texas market, but our touring musicians that we're all really good friends with are excited to have it on board. So I'd say I'd start there, but you know, the list is endless, and you'll soon start seeing some of my you know, celebrity friends and network talking about it and posting about it, and you know, bragging about it, because they're all fans, which, you know, didn't have much to do with me. I just put it in their face and let them try it, and then they kind of took it from there. So
They became fans. Well, that actually ties in with the last thing that I wanted to know, which is, as somebody in Texas who clearly knows a thing or two about music, what's the last concert that you went to for fun and not because it was an obligation or you owed them a favor or that kind of a thing?
I was just at AT&T Stadium and I saw Luke Combs, and that was just for fun. And it was an incredible concert. Last night I saw Leon Bridges, but it was for a charity event. You know, we were all there supporting a cause. So that was more of an obligation. Not obligation, but, you know, more of a,
It was work, but it was fun at the same time.
correct. Luke
Yes.
Combs, a week ago, saw him. AT&T had nothing to do with anything other than sitting in a seat enjoying one of my favorite country artists. So that was really cool.
Okay, you got taste. That's what I've learned. So, Eric, looking forward to seeing the growth of Bucking Bull, your next project, IMDb, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong here. It says Butch Cassidy's Forgotten Outlaw, Holly by Nightfall, Circle of Threes, Shaky Grounds, Butched. Okay, we're just gonna have to keep checking the Instagram to find out where we're seeing you next.
Absolutely. And I'm very active on my Instagram at Eric Nelsen Official, and love to keep in touch with the fans through there. And it's, as soon as I'm able to talk about projects, I post it, and look forward to sharing what's coming up with the fans. And next one I start shooting is Butched. And I can throw out that it's a Western. So my Western fans, I'm not leaving you hanging. I'm going to always sprinkle in the genre, just because it's, you know, been so great to me and it's been so much fun. So looking forward to starting shooting that production here coming up soon.
Paltrocast.